Man killed by St. Petersburg police hit by 38 bullets was linked to 2019 homicide. Officers fired 50 rounds after Dominique Harris wounded an officer during the gunfight, said Pinellas Sheriff Bob Gualtieri. And it goes on to say, guys, this was written by Catherine Varn, Josh Solomon, Jack Evans, and Rami Ellenbogen. Alright, so let's get into the story, guys. You remember I showed you a picture of him in part 1. This is Dominique Harris, a 21-year-old man, 20-year-old black man that allegedly fired 4 rounds at the police, hitting one officer 2 times, and they let off a barrage of 50 rounds, hitting him, I do believe, 38 times. That's what the article said yesterday in part 1, which was uploaded today. So the article goes on to say, guys, before we do that, please go over to teesprings.com TV boutique, and you guys can get your merch over there. You got socks, masks, mugs, tanks, tees, and leggings, and all other kind of things over there that, hoodies, long sleeves, since it's wintertime, right? And I do appreciate it. Support your girl. It's a partially owned black business, and I do appreciate it. Thank you. Alright, so St. Petersburg, Dominique Harris, who was killed by police after shooting an officer on Wednesday, was a person of interest in an unsolved 2019 homicide, said Pinellas Sheriff Bob Gualtieri. Harris was also known to be armed and to flee from police, the sheriff said at a Thursday news conference addressing the shootout, which sent one officer to the hospital and ended the death of Harris. Now, yesterday when I told you, they said they was also apprehending him for a child abuse charge, which I don't know what form of child abuse, but I said in that video, leave the damn children alone, please. I'm not here to judge the young man because he can't speak for himself or defend him. But at the same time, guys, it's a little sickening when we hear more and more and more people in our community taking advantage of children. That's not something our ancestors used to do, okay? So there's something demonic going on with that. Absolutely. It's a learned behavior. And who taught it to you? Surely not God. So the article goes on to say, authorities say that the 20-year-old man tried to ram a car past a blockade of officers attempting to arrest him on the child abuse charge, then fired at an officer. The police scene unfolded in a crowded grocery store parking lot after 4 p.m. Alright, you can see a footage of it there. Police vehicles had boxed in Harris's vehicle, the sheriff said, and then he aimed a semi-automatic handgun out of the driver's side window and shot an officer at close range. How close were they when they shot him? 50 times, allegedly. At least 38, one article said. Another officer then opened fire on Harris in a scene captured in a video posted to Facebook. And I do believe I have that video. I may go ahead and insert it here.
Downtown. The whole thing on...
The shooter is dead. 2 officers hurt. Investigators say one of them shot at nearly point-blank range. He's recovering from surgery tonight. Gunfire rings out again in South St. Pete, a neighborhood that's hurting after yet another shooting. Investigators trying to figure out why and how it took a turn for the worst.
To give you an idea of where we are talking about, the shooting happened around the 1400 block of 18th Avenue South. That's in the area just south of downtown. The whole thing unfolding just after 4:15 this afternoon in the parking lot of a food mart. Our Emil Morrow is live tonight near the scene. Our Bo Zimmer also covering this for us. He is outside of Bayfront Hospital, where one officer has been in surgery tonight. But we will start with Emerald, who's got the latest information from investigators. What can he tell us?
Yeah, Carolina, you know, this all started when police were looking for a man on child abuse charges. And according to the sheriff, they say that police in St. Petersburg were looking for 20-year-old Dominique Harris. They say he faced felony charges for body slamming a 15-year-old during a fight. Now, according to the sheriff as well, police found Harris along 18th Avenue South outside of the Food Max. They tried to get him out of the car, and when he refused, the sheriff says police broke the windshield. It was then that Harris allegedly backed up into the cruiser behind him and then tried to speed off, but officers surrounded him. That is when the sheriff says Harris pulled out a semi-automatic weapon and shot a detective in the lower body. From there, a witness at the scene says everything turned chaotic with dozens of shots fired. Another witness says Harris's younger brother came out of the Food Max store to find his brother dying.
I can hear his brother, he behind me. He's screaming and he's hollering. Well, that's my brother, y'all.
Other officers continued to fire because Harris continued to be a threat. He continued to point his firearm at the officers and was continuing to fire.
Now, the thing to remember here is that this is an active investigation.
Pinellas Sheriff Bob Gutierrez said this photo shows the semi-automatic pistol he said Dominique Harris used to shoot a St. Petersburg police officer during Wednesday's shootout outside the Food Max store at 1400 18th Ave. South Harris was then killed by other officers by being struck by 38 bullets. You see that, guys? Wow, that's crazy. So it also goes on to say, the sheriff says 6 St. Petersburg police officers fired a total of 50 rounds during the incident. Harris was struck 38 times. He was pronounced dead at Bayfront Health, St. Petersburg. He was pronounced dead at Bayfront Health, St. Petersburg Hospital that night. Gutierrez declined to name 5 of the officers because they work undercover, he said. He said the 6th is Officer Richard McKee, who works in patrol. Gutierrez said the undercover officers range from 28 years of experience on the force to 2. Now, we don't know this, guys. We can't take everything they say true. They just may be trying to keep them from, it's called non-disclosure. Don't tell them who they are so the public don't get at them, so they don't be in fear. They saw what happened to George Floyd, the police officer, Derek, I believe, Chauvin, in that incident. And they also know black people in Florida about them guns, okay? They about them things down there, right? And they not playing with these police. It's been a war going on with the men in blue against the men in black since the days of Jesus, okay? All right? It's just the days of Jesus, they wore white robes. Now the days of a black man, likened unto Christ, they wear blue uniforms. Alright, so it goes on to say, one of the unnamed officers shot and killed the homicide suspect in 2013. This is why they want to keep them hidden. The sheriff said, one of the unnamed officers shot and killed the homicide suspect in 2013, the sheriff said. The 2 others have fired their weapons in past shootings. All 6 officers are on administrative leave pending the conclusion of inquiries into the shooting. Now, guys, this is a long article, little bit more, and then I gotta come on screen with the rest of it, okay? Harris fired at least 4 times at the wounded officer from what the sheriff's was called point-blank range. The officer was shot twice in the mid-torso area and was pulled to safety by another officer during the gun battle. And he underwent surgery and was reported to be in stable condition. Now this is the officer, okay? I mean, even in the battle, this man, I mean, probably shot to kill, but didn't overkill. I mean, this. We gotta speak facts here. This man is still alive, is what some people are gonna say in the article. What do you think about it? One alive, one dead. So it goes on to say, Harris was a person of interest in the death of Marquis Scott, a 20-year-old Northeast High School graduate who was fatally shot while riding his bicycle a few blocks from his grandmother's house on September 17, 2019. Scott's parents told the Tampa Bay Times last year they believe their son's death was connected to the November 2018 shooting that their son took part in that left the man paralyzed. So I am going to go ahead and end it. Well, let me go ahead and finish here. This is Marquis Scott. Marquis Scott, 20, a former Northeast High School football captain, was fatally shot in 2019 while riding his bicycle near his grandmother's house in St. Petersburg, a St. Petersburg home. So in September, on the year anniversary of his death, which would have been from 2019 to 2020, his family held a vigil to remember Scott and the city's other victims of gun violence, which I was saying earlier, there's a lot going on down in the state of Florida. And it says, they had also pleaded for someone to come forward and provide information that could solve their son's murder. Scott's parents said late Thursday that Harris' death and a possible connection to their son's murder has left them with conflicting emotions. They want to mourn for this young man and the loss of his life. Let's keep it real. But at the same time, this man may have been the one who killed my son. And I finally got justice. I finally got some peace. I finally got resolution in my spirit.